Here we go, guys. Chapter 5.2, From Republic to Empire. On this slide, you see a picture of the Roman Senate in session, the landed aristocracy, making decisions for the entire empire. And over here, you see a wall. But it's not just any wall, it's Hadrian's Wall, and it's located in Britain, the northernmost extent of the Roman Empire. Yes, the Romans made it all the way up to England. Our big idea is internal instability of the Roman Republic eventually led to civil wars and increased power for the military. Our key words are internal instability, civil wars, and increased power for the military. We'll learn about that internal instability in those civil wars and how power shifted from the Senate to the military. This picture is an image of the inside of the Senate House, the actual Senate House that was used for so many years. This is still located in Rome. Of course, it has been remodeled. Not remodeled, it's been restructured. It's been kept up so that we can still go there and you can see it today. But this is where many decisions were made. And over here you have the Praetorian Guard. This is like the Secret Service. Yes, the Romans had a Secret Service, and they were charged with protecting the emperor. We'll learn about them in just a minute. A couple of major dates in Roman history. 509 BC is the start of the Republic. The Republic lasts until, anybody guess, 27 BC. A couple of important dates towards the end of the Republic would be 60 and 44 BCE. Those are going to be dates of triumvirate and the Caesar's assassination, both internal instability and civil wars that brought the Republic to an end. After the Republic, what happened? Hey, we had an empire. The empire will last until about 476 CE, the traditional fall of the Roman Empire. And during that time, there's one more important date we'll talk about in this section. It is 180 CE. It's the end of the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, a time of prosperity for the Roman civilization. So let's check out what was going on during this time that led to the end of the Republic. Power, let's remember, was in the hands of the Senate. Who were these senators? They were wealthy landowners, the landed aristocracy. They held that position for life, and of course they held the most important positions within the Roman government. And so they are going to make decisions that are favorable to them. They are going to direct wars, they are going to control finances. Really, anybody else does not have much power. It is all in the hands of the Senate. But that will change. First, we had some internal instability. We had small landowners, not the aristocracy. These would be common folks. They lose land to the aristocracy. What do? They migrate to the cities. The cities become bigger, they expand, population grows, and we have economic and social crisis. We're going to have unemployment, underemployment, we're going to have a food shortage. There will be some senators who attempt to make reforms to give land back to some of these people, but they're killed. They're the Gracchi brothers. And their reforms, although they were senators, they tried to do good. They tried to return land to peasants, if you will, but other senators, other landed aristocrats, killed them. So that did not work. That's an example of internal instability. Now we're going to learn how power switched from the Senate to the military. Traditionally, the military was composed of small landowners, but remember what happened when those farmers lose land. They migrate to the cities, and so technically then they couldn't serve in the military. But one general, Marius, he promises land in exchange for military service, and so we're going to see how loyalty shifts from the state to the general. Previously, people were loyal to Rome, to the state. Remember what Aristotle said, you don't belong to yourself, you belong to the state. And Romans adopted that, and they said, yes, we have a duty to our state. Well, now we're going to see Marius taking that loyalty, and people are going to become loyal to him because he is going to promise them land. Remember, land equals wealth equals power. military generals become involved in politics in order to obtain land. They can encourage expansion to a new territory, because if they conquer that new territory, they get more land. If they get more land, they can pass that on to their soldiers, and their soldiers will be loyal to him. They will follow him into another battle, into another conflict. And so what we're going to have are many generals start doing this, and there's going to be a civil war between generals, most famously between Marius and Sulla. Sulla is going to do something unprecedented. He's going to take his military and he's going to march on Rome. Never been done before. But what he does is he sets a precedent for future generals. He sets an example of what can be done. And there's one man who's going to become popular doing this, and that is Julius Caesar. The first triumvirate, which is really a government of 3 people with equal power, is going to arise about 60 BCE, and it's going to be made up of 3 individuals: Crassus, Pompey, and Julius Caesar. This triumvirate will quickly fall apart because Crassus, he's killed in battle, so we're left with 2. 2 individuals fighting for power. The Senate steps in. They try to solve this. They choose Pompey. Julius Caesar says, He defends his position. He has military behind him. He has been so successful with his battles in Gaul, in France. He's been expanding the Roman territory, expanding the Roman Empire. He is popular among his soldiers, so they will defend him. And what he does is he crosses the Rubicon. The Rubicon is a river separating his province from the next Roman province. If we say that you are crossing the Rubicon, you are crossing something, you are doing something which is unexpected, which you are not supposed to do. A civil war ensues, Pompey versus Julius Caesar. Pompey loses. Julius Caesar, he is made dictator. He is the sole ruler. It's a time of civil war, instability. People said, let's put one man in power who will make all the decisions, who will set us on the right track. And they said Julius Caesar will do that. He makes a lot of changes. But what happens when someone makes changes is that other people feel threatened. Some of those people are the senators. Other senators are going to feel threatened because Julius Caesar is trying to enact land reform, give land back to the common people. They feel threatened, so they kill him. 44 BC. And that's what we call today as the Ides of March. So we have a second triumvirate. The first one didn't work. Let's try another one. That one is between Antony, Octavian, who is the grand nephew of Julius Caesar, and Lepidus. Lepidus quickly falls out of the picture. He controls some territory here in Africa. He is charged with insurrection. He is quickly put down and sent to exile in Carthage. And the Roman world is split between Octavian and Mark Antony. Mark Antony, he is hanging out down here in Alexandria with Cleopatra. He aligns himself with her. Cleopatra and Mark Antony fight against Octavian at the Battle of Actium. Antony and Cleopatra lose. They return to Alexandria, commit suicide, and Octavian is left as the sole ruler of the Roman world. And we get the beginning of the Roman Empire with the age of Augustus. He changes his name from Octavian to Augustus. He names himself Imperator, which is commander-in-chief of the Roman army. Today we call our president the commander-in-chief because he is in charge of our military. This army was comprised of Roman citizens, and he established the Praetorian Guard, which would protect him, the secret service of ancient Rome. He appointed governors for each of the Roman provinces. Instead of the Senate doing this, he does this. And he also continues to expand the Roman Empire. During the early years of the empire, these emperors take power away from the Senate and they become more powerful. Some of those guys become pretty bad. They become corrupt with their power. There are also issues with succession. Who is going to become the next emperor when one dies? Fortunately, we did have a series of good emperors for a couple hundred years. they're known as the 5 good emperors, and they ushered in the era of the Pax Romana. They built roads that helped to move the army from one place to another very quickly, helped defend or expand to a new area. They established common coinage and a system of laws. They made travel safe. Safe travel equals successful trade. So more trade, increased trade is going to occur, and it's going to go everywhere throughout the empire, as well as to India and to China. And that is the Pax Romana, a good time to live during the Roman Empire. Here's a picture showing where the Roman Empire expanded to, and all of these cities that pop up and become important during this time of the Roman Empire. It's going to encompass 3.5 million square miles, over 50 million people, and it's going to be brought together because of tolerance. Many people are going to be granted citizenship, Roman citizenship, not just the people living in Rome or in Italy. Okay, many people will be given citizenship. They have tolerance. The Romans allow local customs to be carried out, and they allow some type of local governance, particularly to collect taxes. And so it's not as if the Roman government is trying to oversee every single thing that occurs throughout the vast empire. They allow a lot of tolerance, and that is going to create unity. People will see themselves as Roman citizens thanks to that idea of citizenship. They build these cities, and these cities are created in a grid-like structure with streets, perpendicular streets, and each city will have many common features. Some of those features, as you can see right here, and probably right here, are a coliseum or an amphitheater, a place for entertainment. Temples, lots of temples, many of them still standing today. Baths, public baths, and these things were even heated. And marketplaces, this is showing trade and exchange that took place in these cities. So a lot of interaction, various cultures from all over the world meeting together, sharing ideas in these cities. Economy and society, farming and trade. Goods are transported near and far by land and sea, the significance of many of these port cities. The society in the upper class, we're going to have them holding the political offices, living a life of leisure and luxury, and they have latifundia, which are villas and estates. And here's an example of one of those. Think of the aristocracy, a large expanse of land, fancy, nice villas and estates and farms where they get their power. Lower classes, they're going to be smaller farmers, shopkeepers, even slaves below them. And the unemployed are going to depend upon the bread and circuses, the entertainment and food that is provided by the emperor for the masses. Here's a couple of questions to check out. Be ready to talk about next class, some resources, email me with any questions, and I'll see you guys next class.